Hi, I'm Carole Jean Whittington, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in life and relationships as a late identified autistic by unveiling who you are, what you love, creating balance, and being the leader and creator of your best life. Get ready, because this is where we go against the mainstream. We say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to who we are in order to create a joy-filled, balanced, and more neurodistinct world. Ubuntu. Welcome to Mind Your Autistic Brain. Welcome to a special edition of Mind Your Autistic Brain. Today, I'm really excited because I have Dr. Ali Arena from Ali Arena Communications with me today, and she and I have partnered up for a really special project. This month in October, she and I have come together and we have created something called the Coaching Cafe. This is going to be a spectacular and really amazing experience for you guys because we're focusing and talking about relationships. Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I am really excited about this because I know going into the holiday season and just as an adult, autistic, late identified, the biggest challenge that I have and the biggest challenge I've had in the past are relationships. Because like we talked about, nobody gives you the stinking handbook.
No, there's nothing. It's like, go figure it out. Especially as an adult, there's nothing.
And when you have that perspective shift that like, oh my gosh, I'm autistic. I just perceive the world differently and how I process things and think about them is differently. And that's not how everybody thinks about it. And everybody has a different perspective. And wow, holy cow, what else have I missed or not understood my entire life? It's huge.
Huge.
And you're just like, could somebody just give me a guide? Could somebody break it down for me? Could somebody make it simple? Could somebody please help me? Because I've been married for a while, and now that I know I'm autistic, it explains so much. And what do I do? How can I, change understanding in my relationship and my marriage? Or how, now that I know this, can I help my partner understand and really help share my perspective with them so that they don't think that I'm just not listening to them?
Yes. I mean, that's a huge thing, right? People really do feel that way, that they're not being listened to, and that can compound. Yeah. There's a certain way you can both learn to communicate that feels good.
Absolutely. So what is, like, Ali, I want to know, because I know, but I want you to share with everybody. Why did you want to partner with me to create Coaching Cafe on relationships? What was your big why on this one?
Well, first of all, you're amazing. So I just love working with you. But, I think that I love that you and I are, it's a small group coaching. We're giving people an opportunity to really ask questions about their lives, but also relationships do really matter. And a lot of people that I tend to work with, there's so much past harm and undoing that needs to happen that if you and I can in any way help to move that along or even prevent future harm this holiday season, that's really important to me, because the holidays are going to be a time where you're around people. And for some of us, you might have even skipped last year because of COVID. So it could even feel more intense now. Like, I'm going to be seeing everyone. We're at this big gathering. And what I've found, even with myself, that's really helped is being able to say, wait, I actually can't hear you across the table. Like, truly, like, I cannot process what you're saying. And once I started to learn a lens like that, it just made me feel better. I was like, oh, I'm not being rude. I'm not caring about what you're saying. Like, because there's a lot of shame that happens when people identify what you're doing. And you're like, oh, I guess that is what I'm doing. But in reality, you actually have neurology at play that might be affecting what's happening. And just there's so many little things that once you understand how your brain works, you can better prepare. Like, if you eat a ton on Thanksgiving, I do, no judgment. But then I'm not processing what people are saying all that well. So I literally started saying right after we eat, whoever wants to go on a walk, I'm so happy to go on a walk with you, because my brain's going to work for the next 30 minutes and then I'm literally going to take a nap. So let's walk it out for a little bit, right? Just again, giving people strategies. And the biggest thing is to prevent the shame that can occur and just sort of triggering these old wounds that tend to come up a lot around holidays.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
My big why for this, and the reason I was so excited to partner with you for this, is because I know for me, going into the holiday season and just that big shift that happened when I learned I was autistic, because you go into these events with this whole new lens and you know more about yourself than you ever did. And you understand maybe more about why certain things and certain dynamics happened, and you're starting to see some of those things emerge. And the other people maybe don't see that yet. And, they still think you're you from, 2 years ago when you got together, but you're not. And so being able to come into this and help people so that we're all equipped, more prepared, and de-stress, take some of that anxiety. We already have enough things to like traveling and the sensory challenges that we face, and just being able to take all of that and unpack it to be able to go, really, how is this going to serve me? And how can I make this whole experience and my connection with people, how can I shift that, and how can I embrace it, and what can I even, let go, what's not important anymore, and really redefine what my beliefs are about myself and the relationships that I'm having. Because for so many of us in late identified life, one of the beliefs and one of the trauma and the hurt and the harm that we're holding is that we're not good enough, we're not worthy of relationship, or that somehow that deficit of like, we don't have the skills, the abilities, or we're not equipped for it. And that's just not true. We just do it differently. And we're just maybe haven't been aware of, or haven't, been exposed to what different types of communication styles are, and being able to recognize ours and somebody else's. And the fact that somehow I have two different communication styles, how I deliver information and how I like to receive information, because those can be wildly different. And how those impact those different relationship styles that we have, because there's more than one. And just because you might be in one that's not serving you right now doesn't mean that you can't, through some of these things that you and I are putting together, be able to change that and put it into true connection, and be able to really get to that authentic connection that we're all seeking, and do it in a way that's just not going to be traumatizing.
You said that so perfectly. I mean, I think, my main mission and what I do for a career is to create authentic connection, because I didn't realize that I was lacking that for so many years. And once you have it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful gem, and everything becomes a little bit more fulfilling. But then also to help with this invisible line that exists between neurodiverse and neurotypicals, and sort of to maybe bring them, either to bring them closer, to totally break the line, or to talk about what that line is. Because maybe it really is that you're communicating differently. That person's perceiving it as rude. We could maybe just break the line, and you guys could have a conversation about what was going on there and what the intentions were. It's a lot of assuming that happens.
There really is. And what I have found through my whole late identified journey, especially when it comes to relationships, is that the biggest key, the biggest factor in every relationship in my life all came down to what I was learning about myself, and what I was learning more about my perception and how I onboarded someone's communication style, not really understanding it, and not really understanding my own. And just that shift, wow, that was like mind-blowingly huge, because just that internal difference that I started to feel, it really isn't about anybody else. It's not all the external stuff. It's like really what's happening in here, and being able to go, that is my communication style. Or I have 3 different types of communication style. It depends on the time of the day. It depends on the situation. It depends on the person. And just knowing all of that, I mean, it sounds like a whole lot, guys, but really once you start to get some of these tools that Allie and I are going to be sharing in the Coaching Cafe, it's just like bam, bam, bam. And you're just like, you're seeing it everywhere, and you almost get giddy and excited about it. Don't you, Allie?
I call it like that curiosity, like then you're just kind of in it and you're loving to figure it out. And I think, another big thing that is a why I believe for both of us is helping people understand too, not everyone is going to like you and you're not going to like everyone and you don't have to. I think, just as women, as neurodiverse individuals, that dialogue plays out a lot. And that can be super harmful. That's one of those like past hurts that I see. They'll bring up context and situations and I'm like, it kind of just sounds like you two would have never been friends anyways. And that we're really trying to, make something work that maybe doesn't need to. Like they might not really add any value to your life and vice versa.
Exactly. And, being able to identify that and no longer feeling like it's your fault because it's not working and somehow you've done something wrong, but being able to stand back and go, they're really just, that's not my person. That's not the relationship that's serving me in my life. And it's okay to let it go. And then sometimes if that relationship is someone that you are related to and having to still be in contact with, Allie and I want to give you some tools and some strategies to be able to navigate that so that you can hold everything in context, still be able to have those protective boundaries in place for yourself so that that relationship doesn't like blow up and spiral during the holidays in particular.
Absolutely. And we all have that, right? You choose your friends, your family is your family, right? So there's probably someone there who's a little difficult and you have to have some strategies and they could just be a lot of protective strategies for yourself that they don't have to know you're doing, but that you do to make yourself feel better.
Exactly. So this is who this coaching cafe is going to be for, guys. If this is you, this is exactly the place you need to be. We're so excited. So if you are an autistic adult, Coaching Cafe is for you. Just telling you, it is for you. We are creating this for you. It is by us. I am autistic ADHD. Allie is ADHD. We have got some amazing things to share with you because we've gotten to this other side. We got sort of a handbook we've put together because nobody handed us one. And we said, hey, wait a minute. We need a handbook. We really do. I need something that's like black and white, something that helps me identify things because I'm a scientist researcher by nature. That's what I'm looking for. And I want the data. I'm kind of like the director of communication stylist. Like, just give me the points. Let me fix stuff. Let me put it together. How do I put all this and just give me the facts, ma'am. So that's what we're hoping to do on this. But we're also going to teach you some of those subtle things that you might be missing. So if you're an autistic adult, this is for you. All right, folks. This is a big one. I get this question all the time, and this is one of the things that people are always asking me. This is going to be for you. If you're married, been married for a while, you've been in this relationship, and you just found out you're autistic, and all of a sudden, man, so much makes sense. And you're like, how do I navigate this with my partner? How do I share my perspective? How do I communicate in a way that I love this person? How can we make this better? This is for you. If you are single, if you don't have that romantic relationship person, if it's just you, this is going to help you because it's not going to only help you understand yourself better, your communication styles better. It's going to help you in any current or future relationships. This is going to be amazing for you. You don't have to be married. This is for single folks too. One of the other things is that if you feel like you didn't get the handbook on how to be in a relationship, if that was just like, you felt like, holy cow, I just totally bypassed this. Nobody gave me like the Dr. Spock book of parenting, which by the way, guys, I never read and just totally doesn't work in my parenting style. But, nobody gave me a book on how to parent. Nobody gave me a book on relationships. But Allie and I are putting together this handbook, this way to help navigate and really be able to embrace relationships from our language and our perspective, because that's really where it all starts, right, Allie?
Yes. Yeah. And it's, again, like this will be a really nice journey of self-awareness and just, you can take what we are saying and use it or lose it. But the way to know if that's going to work is learning about yourself more.
Absolutely. So this is what Coaching Cafe is going to be, guys. This is what it is. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to be a small, intimate circle where Allie and I will be leading 2 sessions to go deeper into helping you. We're going to have a small group Zoom. So there's only limited seating. There's only going to be a small number of people that will be onboarding for this. And the doors will open later in October. And if you are on the waiting list, make sure you're on the waiting list. You'll be the first to get notified before it goes public so that you can go ahead and snatch up one of those small limited seats for this event. We'll be helping you identify who you are, what your communication styles are, help you identify what those styles and types of relationships that you might have in your life, and who those other people are. Allie is just fantastic about this, and she's going to be helping you work through what and identify what communication style the other person has that's in the relationship. And we'll be helping you with some strategies in how to use those and identify those communication styles. And, I'll be helping you shift what type of relationship that is and how can you shift that relationship into that true connection corner. We'll also be helping you identify your needs in a relationship, because that's a huge one. Isn't it, Allie?
It's so huge. And you'll hear this in other podcasts, but it's really like you don't know it. And then all of a sudden it's like, woo, I have this need and I haven't been telling anyone this. And now I'm angry and I don't really know why I'm so angry. It's hard. They pop out.
Yeah, they do. And sometimes they rear their ugly head in the most inopportune moments.
Oh, for sure.
And I could say that sometimes I have reared my ugly head when I have not had my need met and my stress behavior comes out. And I'm just like, wow, the big red hairy monster is what my sister would call me when I was little.
Totally. And we need to, know that going into the holidays, because the holidays are stressful. There are going to be people there that you're like, oh my goodness. So you need to know if some of those needs need to be met before, or you need to let someone know that a need needs to be met maybe at that gathering.
Right. And the other flip side of that is knowing what someone else has a need for that maybe they're not communicating very effectively. And we're going to help you guys be able to identify perhaps what that need is when they're not telling you. Because it's that unwritten silent communication that is like really, really like makes no sense and didn't make sense to me for ages. But now that I know these things, it's like, holy cow, why didn't somebody give me this handbook earlier? This is like makes navigating all this stuff so much easier.
Absolutely.
So we're also going to be talking about communication styles, how to use them effectively. Some of those relationship beliefs that we hold, some of those beliefs that are really harming us that we can let go of, what those healthy boundaries are in our internal life and our external life, because in relationships, that's one of the things we talked about last month in our self-care series is our boundaries, those internal and external boundaries. And I told you guys we'd be tying this into relationships. So Allie and I are going to be tying this all up with a nice pretty bow coming up for the holidays. And we're going to be answering your specific relationship questions, aren't we, Allie?
Yes. And I think that's what makes this unique is, yes, we'll be teaching, but it's definitely meant to feel collaborative and really about what's happening for you. So that sort of that like actionable coaching part, which I always love, like if I listen to a podcast and someone gets coached, because I'm like, oh, I do that. Oh, someone else does that. It really helps you to start to see patterns of people in your life and see if the same would apply.
It really does. And that was why we set the small group intimate coaching cafe section up, because one of the things that I've learned is that through coaching in small groups, somebody else might be getting coached. Somebody else might be talking about a situation in a relationship that they're struggling with or they're trying to figure out and understand. And through listening to that and engaging in that, you're like, holy cow, I've got one of those in my life and I didn't even realize it. So much exponential growth happens when we do coaching in these small group settings.
Yeah, I mean, we need it. Look, we're our own person and you're seeing everything from your lens. So it's so hard to even, there might be relationships in your life that you didn't even realize were an issue, I'm using quotation marks, until someone else gives an example. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I thought that was like a nothing thing, but it's actually draining me a lot. So we might also be highlighting for you things that you hadn't thought of. And then obviously we're giving a repair around those things.
That's exactly what we want to be able to do. And guys, this is also set up so that it works for us and it works for our processing. Because I know for me, and especially when it comes to like big topics like this, that are a little more outside of my like natural wheelhouse. It's something that I've had to acquire skills on. It's things I had to have time to process and sort of start to apply them in some small areas, we're breaking this up so that we've got a coaching session. We're doing these on a Saturday. So we'll have a 2-hour coaching session on a Saturday. Then we'll have a week where you guys really get to download and process and take time, and you can go back and, we'll have a replay available just for you guys to be able to go in and watch personally to say, okay, I need to re-listen to that, or I want to go back and hear that again, so that you can go back and sort of digest it on your own time and work through it. Then the next Saturday, we'll have another segment and we'll come back together and we'll move into the next segment. And then this is the really great part. This is the part that I was really excited because I got 2 parts in here, but we got a bonus. Allie and I are going to do a question and answer session after the fact that we've done these other 2. So you've got some time and some space to really come up with and ask those questions. Like, once you started to apply some of these things in your life, you started to try some of these things out, if you feel like you need to tweak it, or you feel like, okay, this is the response I got, we really want to be able to meet you in that. And we want to have that live discussion. Yeah, Allie?
Yes, exactly. And that was all Carole Jean. She thought of that. And I think it is genius, because everyone's done like a lecture before where they're like, oh my gosh, that was everything. It was so wonderful. And then, they go and try it 2 weeks, and a week later, they're like, wait, I didn't get I'm missing like step 1A. I'm on step 2, but I think I missed something in between.
Yes. And sometimes you try something out and you're like, well, I didn't get the response I was thinking I was going to get, and this is what happened. And we want to make sure that you have a place to go ask that question and say, okay, because, this really is a process. It really is. There's layers to this, and there's all these nuances, and we don't want to leave you hanging. We don't want to just give you a couple of things. We don't want to just talk at you. We want to talk with you. So not only do you get the bonus question and answer segment, and we're going to make sure we got plenty of time and we're not going to leave anybody's question unanswered in that, we're also giving you 30 days to email your biggest question to us. So we want to make sure that you've got those 30 days that are going to cover Thanksgiving holidays, Christmas holidays, all of that time span within there. You have got the availability to email Allie and I your number one burning question. We want to make sure you've still got that support and those resources. So this isn't just a hit it and quit it. This is a how can we connect with you? How can we meet your needs? And how can we continue to support you? Because this is a big deal, right, Allie?
It is. It is. And look, everything, yes, this is going to be holiday based, but these people exist all year, right? Your relationships exist all year. So, then sort of after these holidays happen, you can take inventory and kind of be like, all right, is this a relationship I really want to work on? How am I feeling about this? So this is a starting point to be able to look at your relationships with a different lens.
Absolutely. And this is something where rubber's going to meet the road. You're going to get actionable tools, new things that are going to really make a huge difference. We're going to sort of put together a handbook, because you're going to get some worksheets. You're going to get some actual tangible things that will help you go through this as well. So we're not just going to give you this tons of information that you're just like, well, what do I do with this now? We're going to help you apply it and actually know what to do with it, because it doesn't do you any good if you just got a whole bunch of stuff, but you don't know what to do with it or how to go about applying it. And we're going to make sure you've got those tools, because she's right. Relationships are forever. They're well, some are, not always.
Not always, no. But they could be a calendar year.
Yep, definitely could be a calendar year. And as we're moving into this section, we want to make sure that we're supporting you in it. And we were making sure that we've got all the tools in place to support you and the way that you learn, the way that you like to engage, and the way that you like to onboard information. So we're making sure that we've got all of these aspects covered. So we've got live transcription that's going to be available. So if you're like me and you got to have text as well as auditory, we'll make sure that the pace is there. You'll have a replay access for all of this. Plus you'll have worksheets and things. And we've got some pretty exciting bonuses and some things that are really going to take this to the next level for you. So make sure, if this interests you, if you are the person that this Relationship Coaching Cafe is for, go get on the wait list right now today. Don't miss out, because everybody that's on the wait list is going to get notified first. whoever's on the wait list, you guys are going to get the email first to sign up because there's only a very small number of seats that are going to be available for this. We're only doing this right now. This is the only time this year we're going to do it. We don't know when we might do this again. Allie and I love the idea. We want to make sure that we're meeting your needs. And if Coaching Cafe is a hit and this really serves you, then we'll be doing it again. But for right now, this is a one-time thing, and we want to make sure you're here. We don't want you to miss it. So be sure you go in the show notes below, get the link, go to the page, get signed up to get on the waiting list so that when the doors open, and we're only going to have them open for about 4 or 5 days because we know it's going to fill up really quick. The waiting list is already almost packed, right? I mean, we were like, I was blown away. I have only sent it out twice and I was like, holy cow, people are like slamming the doors open. I'm just
very excited.
So we definitely want to make sure that you don't miss your opportunity. So go get on the wait list today and make sure as soon as those doors open, you reserve your seat. Thanks so much for being here, Allie, and I'm so excited to be sharing. Next week, Allie and I are going to be talking about communication styles, and you guys are going to be blown away. You really are. Oh my gosh. I was going, yes, oh my gosh, that's me, and I didn't even realize it, and Allie she's going to explain these in such a beautiful way.
Thank you. And I'm so excited for this. You and I are spending the holidays together, basically.
I know. Now we just got to go get you all married off next weekend.
I know. That will be, yes. Next time you hear from me, I will be married and possibly way less stress and communicating with a little bit more emotion. We'll see.
I love it. I love it. Guys, thank you for being here. Check in next week as we talk about the 4 different styles of communication and how they might be playing into your relationships. Because the next one, we're going to be talking about how those communication styles apply to our relationship type. You're going to be shocked. Stay tuned and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
If you are someone who likes to help people and share what has made a difference in your life, please share this talk show with a friend and on your social media accounts so that you can be the blessing in another late identified autistic's life. Be sure to tag me at Social Audie so I can personally say thank you. And to help keep the talk show ad-free, please consider becoming a one-time or recurring supporter through either Buy Me a Coffee or the Anchor podcast links in the show notes below. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for adding your voice to our story.